Daniel and the Lion's Den. For those of you that have been watching, you know this book. Yeah. There is one who is wiser still, and Daniel is his name. So before you take another sleeping pill, perhaps he can explain. Long ago, in the city of Babylon, you guys know that Babylon doesn't exist anymore? There lived a wise young man named Daniel. This was hundreds of years ago. Daniel worked hard in the palace of the Babylonian king. One night, while the kingdom slept, the king had a dream. "I am King Darius," the king reported. "I have had a dream, and now I'm feeling rather frightened and alone. And I wish someone would tell me what it means." Okay. "We are your wise men," the three sleepy scallions explained. "Yes, that's true. And though we're using all our wisdom, we're afraid we can't explain your dream to you." Quel boumier. So the king sent for Daniel. And with God's help, Daniel was able to explain the king's dream. "Daniel, you have enlightened me. Your job I will expand. From now on, I want you to sit right beside me as second in command." Daniel's new job made the wise scallions very jealous. They didn't want to take orders from Daniel, so they came up with a sneaky plan to get rid of him. Oh, sneaky scallions. Whoa. Pretty sneaky. Oh no, what we're gonna do. The next morning, the scallions convinced the king to pass a new law. Remember we talked about decrees before? They knew this law would catch Daniel. "Just one more time. Now let's see if I've got this straight," the asparagus king repeated. "A law to prove once and for all that I am great. If I'm the king, no one must doubt my full supremacy." Supremacy is another word for, like, sovereignty. Talked about that earlier. "So, from this day forth, my citizens will pray only to me." So the law was passed. Can you believe that? The law was passed. And that's when Daniel's trouble started. Whoa. You see, God's law required that his people worship only God. Our God, capital G-O-D. And Daniel always obeyed God's law. So the next day, just like always, Daniel prayed to his God, capital G-O-D. He was thanking him for giving him the courage to do what's right. When wham! The three scallions broke into the room, and they carried Daniel away. "Daniel, you have violated Section 42192R94006.1-7B of the Code of Babylon." The tallest scallion yelled this. Then he threw Daniel into the den of what? Lions. "Hey, Daniel, you're sure gonna have fun down there. We're not lying." Not very funny. Though it seems this time you won't get through. God has made a way. Made a way for you. A plan. Deep in the dark, scary lion's den, Daniel could hear the lions roar. Roar! And he could see their eyes blinking. Probably not that fast. In the dark. He was frightened. I'd be frightened just being in the dark, let alone the lions. But it's not really that scary. You just, need to remember that there's light in the dark. Alright. But then he heard a voice. Daniel heard a voice in the darkness. It said, it was an angel, by the way, "Don't cry, Daniel. Fear not, Daniel. Don't you know you're not alone?" The angel reminded Daniel that God, capital G-O-D, was with him, even there in the lion's den. This made Daniel feel much better. The next morning, the king and his trusted wise men ran to the den. "Hello," the king shouted. "I'll be right up. I just have to say goodbye to my new friends," Daniel shouted back. To everyone's surprise, Daniel had not been harmed. "Surely your God is above all men. Now I understand," King Darius proclaimed. "For even at the bottom of the lion's den, you were in his hand. Surely your God is above all men." The king passed a new law, yay, declaring that everyone should pray only to Daniel's God. The wise men were in big trouble, so they moved to Egypt. Yeah, they had to get out of Dodge. But Daniel stayed, and God blessed him all his days. There we are in the lion's den, and then the next day, when the asparagus king Darius decides that all his citizens should pray to God. That's pretty cool. So, this little kid's paraphrase from the Bible is taken from the book of Daniel. That's in the Old Testament. And it's from Daniel chapter 6, verses 1 through 28. The God is always with us. He watches over us and he loves us. And he wants us to do what's right. Let's take a look at Daniel's story. Daniel did a better job than any of the royal rulers. So the king planned to put him in charge of the whole kingdom. But the others heard about it and looked for a reason to bring charges against Daniel. They went as a group to the king and suggested that he should give this order: "During the next 30 days, don't let any of your people pray to any god or man except to you. If they do, throw them in the lion's den." Remember, that was the law that got made. Daniel did just as he had always done before the law went into effect. He went to his room 3 times a day to pray, and he got down on his knees and gave thanks to his God. When the king heard that, he didn't want Daniel to be harmed in any way. Then the men went as a group to the king and said, "Remember, no order or law you make can be changed." Yeah. So the king had Daniel brought out and thrown into the lion's